This is Susan Wilbanks with blendedinsight.com. I am a holistic and integrative healing arts practitioner, an intuitive, and an energy healer. In this podcast, I share tips, tools, and suggestions that have helped me along my path in hopes of inspiring and helping you along yours. Let's get started with today's podcast topic.
Hello, bright soul. Thank you so much for joining me on another podcast. My voice is still a little bit raspy sometimes. I think it's the pollen, which it's fine though. I'm going to continue to move forward and I just won't talk in my higher range. I'll just stay in the low range of my voice, which I've gotten kind of used to doing. It's pretty funny. In any case, I want to thank you so much for being here. And also, before we get started with the topic for today, I have to tell you all, I was sharing about this orange kitten that my daughter got. She named him Milo. He's a few months old and he is very much a hunter. He's very rambunctious. It's a little bit chaotic. It might be getting a tiny better with my 10-year-old cat. And I had shared with you all how he brought a mouse in the house. And I know people say, oh, the cats do that to bring you a gift, or they think you're a poor hunter. It's a kind gesture. They're trying to bring you something. I get it, but I don't want the gift. I don't want the gift. So over the last week or so, I was cleaning house and I was noticing grasshoppers in my living room. And I thought that was so bizarre. And I'm thinking to myself, how are grasshoppers getting here? Didn't even dawn on me that he's probably bringing the grasshoppers in. And so I'm doing dishes. I'm cleaning the kitchen. I look down and he just came in from outside and there's a grasshopper. And I thought, no, please no. Please no. Please don't let this be the new thing you're doing. Y'all, I walked toward it thinking I'm going to put it in a dustpan and it was alive. It was a live grasshopper that he's playing with. And I'm like, well, so now I'm not going to go try to pick up the grasshopper and it leaps. I get a little icked out with that stuff. I actually have a bug vacuum. I don't know where it is, but I actually bought a bug vacuum that you can suck it doesn't harm it. It just creates this little funnel so you can suck it up and then take it outside. Couldn't find my bug vacuum. By the time I turn around, who knows where the grasshopper is in him. And a couple days later, I'm coming in, in the best mood. I see him laying down by a toy. I go over and I see what looks like a dead grasshopper and he's patting it. You know how they play with things, tumble it around. He's patting it. So I thought it was dead. Again, I was going to turn around and go get a dustpan. The thing is alive. It's leaping. He's playing with it. I'm like, oh my Lord. And again, this is my daughter's cat. So it will go with her when she moves. And he's adorable. Love him. I just haven't had a cat like this. That's a hunter. And I've had orange cats before. I had an orange cat growing up. And we adopted an orange cat. We had him. He was my hospice kitten for 9 months. He had that feline AIDS, FIP thing. In any case, so we are adjusting. I feel like my cat is starting to come around a little bit to me. She's still hissing at him because he doesn't have boundaries. I don't know how long that takes, but I appreciate all of your feedback about you reintroducing a new cat into the home and how long it took and all those things. It is a journey. We're going to get through it. It is pretty funny though. It's always a new, exciting surprise with this little orange cat. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'll put a picture of him with his grasshopper so that you can see the little guy and the grasshopper. And I took this photo before I walked over and the thing leaped. And so that's not seen. You just have to imagine that. Okay, let's move into the topic for today. So, if you're anything like me, you're probably pretty habitual. Most of us just create habits. And I had shared a few weeks ago about how when I had tweaked my knee and had to take a break from Orange Theory, I realized that Orange Theory wasn't serving me anymore for multiple reasons. My workout by itself, my weightlifting routine that I do 5 days a week, the type of exercise that I'm doing is stressful on the body, which it's a good stress, but it's still a stress. And I noticed that when I was adding on Orange Theory on top of the movement that I get during the day, I average between 15 and 20,000 steps a day. And plus the workout that I do, that the Orange Theory was adding more stress to my body and I was tired after. And I'm not talking about, oh, like I exerted. I was tired like all day for like 24 hours after. And so I just realized at this moment, it's no longer serving me. It once did. It's not serving me anymore. And The other thing that I do is I try to take a mindful pause and go through things that are just part of my routine to see, how does this make me feel? And is it still serving me? It once did, may not be now. To include emails. I know this sounds silly, but the amount of emails that I get, there are certain things that maybe I buy something and then they subscribe me to their email list and they send me 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 emails a day. That's not serving me. It's irritating. It's almost like I feel like I'm being harassed, energetically harassed, and it irritates me. And so I actually take a day to go through my email and unsubscribe to things or send it to junk. That's not lifting my mood. It's not lifting my vibration. It's an irritant. And I try to minimize those things. The same is true with, maybe it's social media accounts that you're following and you realize that the content doesn't make you feel good or it doesn't lift you up. It doesn't make you happy. So even with those things, you can then just choose to unfollow, unsubscribe. And I know on some social media platforms, you don't want to necessarily like unfriend because you don't want to hurt someone's feelings. You can then unfollow. The same is true with thoughts, the way that you spin situations. What if you took a situation that you have a certain idea about and chose to think about it in a new way so that you feel better about it? Because it's not the thing that happens, it's the story that we tell ourselves about the thing that happened. Our own lens is what's creating the feeling. That feeling is creating a vibration. That vibration is emitting a signal. That signal then aligns a frequency. And I know it seems simple, but it's so powerful. And we're so habitual. We're habitual in our thoughts, our beliefs, our behaviors. And I've just gotten to a habit of sitting and peeling back the layers because I'm not the same today that I was yesterday. If you have committed to this path, you're continually committed to evolving. You're continually aligning, you're checking in with your higher self. You're checking in with your intuition to see, what would you have me do today? How can I serve today? How can I be a being that brings the most peace, that brings the most joy, that brings the most highest expression of why I came here in any given moment? And it also goes for relationships of all kinds. Is it serving me anymore? I've shared in previous podcasts how I had some longstanding relationships that were very one-sided. People that only call me when they want something from me. So it's more a friendship of convenience than a friendship of authenticity and mutual benefit. It's more, I'm benefiting them and they're just kind of using me, and I don't feel good after the exchange. See, we are service beings. We're service beings, but we also need boundaries and we also deserve to be respected, and we deserve reciprocated contribution and reciprocated energy and time. If you're always the one that's giving down and you feel drained afterward, maybe it's time to reevaluate. Now, sometimes someone will be going through something and it may be heavy, and we can be going through something and we can be heavy. I am sure there have been times in my life where I have drained someone because either I've got things pent up, I'm in a low place, I'm ranting. It could be so many things. I'm sure of it. But is it consistent? Is it like a one-off? Or is it something consistent to where you're no longer looking forward to the interaction or the interaction drains you? And if that's the case, then ask your higher self, like step back and ask, how can I adjust this? Or how can I let this go? How can I release it? And one of the things I like to do is, if there's a situation that I know is not serving me anymore and I'm not sure how to navigate it, energy healing helps for this, readings help for this. What I do for myself is I will ask for it to be revealed to me and I will turn it over before I go to bed. I may not dream about it, but I allow the higher beings to communicate with me on a soul level in my sleep state. And I continue to do this until the answer comes in for me. Now, with that, again, it may not come in my dream state. This is what works for me. I know we all have different things that work. And it could be something different for you, but I like to share what works for me in case it resonates. So it can be like the next day when I am thinking about it again or picking up again, that something comes in, or maybe it's during my meditation the next day, or maybe it's during breath work the next day. And this walk that we chose is a faith walk. It is a constant checking in. It's a path of consciousness. It is the path least traveled. There's not a lot of us that choose this path. However, it's an illuminated path, and it is very gratifying when you commit to it, you stay on it, and you trust it, because that's the other piece, is trusting it. And this isn't, I hear a lot, or I see a lot about, this isn't serving me, but it's coming from an egotistical place. This is not that place. And that's not where you and I reside. We're not doing it from an egotistical place where people sit there and this isn't serving me and I deserve. No, that's all ego. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the patterns that we continually repeat because you're a centered, lighthearted, radiant being who wants to see the good in everyone, who wants to serve. Oftentimes it can end up making you feel like you're a doormat or you're drained. We're in a different category. So this is from a higher place. What is in my best interest at this time? And does this activity, action, behavior, relationship still serve me? So as we go into the healing, you can, whatever came to mind when I was talking about this, you can ask for guidance about that. And then as we go into the healing, you can see what comes in and then see also what you can do with that. So let's go into the healing. I will turn it on. You can uncross your arms and legs. Okay, and so it is. Friends, I appreciate you so much. And just know that I am also on this path of refinement with you. That's why I come on here. That's why I share the things that are up for me, that I see that's up for people that I work with privately and in my personal life. We're all on this path of refinement. I know it's not easy, but it's worth it. And it may not be easy, but it's simple. And that's the funny thing about it. A lot of times, the simple things that we can do aren't easy. Change isn't easy. I know that, but it's so worth it. And as always, I appreciate you so much from the bottom of my heart. And I wish you the most magnificent week. And if you feel drawn, you can hop over on our Patreon, see if it's a good fit for you. It's in the show notes. Also, the Pause Breathwork app is linked below. And as always, you're the best. Take care. Bye bye.